Good evening, students. Here I am again with the Economics Excellence channel. This is for the chapter Theory of Demand, where we are going to have a quick revision for the preparation of ICSE Class 10 Economic Applications. So here it goes, Theory of Demand. If you see this mind map, you will see that what are the exact things as it's included in your syllabus for this chapter. First of all, what do you mean by demand exactly? You have to write that it refers to the quantity of a commodity that a consumer is willing and able to buy at a given price during a given period of time. See, commodity that a consumer is willing and able to buy. Both the things has to be present and then only it will become an effective demand. Next will come for the types of demand. You have in your syllabus for the joint demand, derived demand and composite demand. Now when we talk about joint demand, what exactly it means? When demand for different complementary goods are created at a time, or you can say demand for goods which are demanded together to satisfy same wants, meaning is same. We call it as what? Joint demand. For example, say the demand for computer hardware and software are created jointly. Similarly, demand for gun and bullets are also an example of joint demand. You can even say bread and butter, ink and pen. Next comes derived demand. And then we will be doing about composite demand. Now, when we say derived demand, what we say? It means when the demand for any commodity is derived from the demand for some other commodity. It is called derived demand or indirect demand. Generally, demand for any factor of production, say demand for a machine, is called derived demand. This is because the demand for some goods which are produced with the help of that machine has increased in the market. As a result of demand for that machine will also increase. That means demand for a good that has a, it is resulting from demand of related goods. Next comes composite demand. Now, what do you mean by composite demand? Basically, composite demand means when any commodity or service is demanded for many alternative uses, it is called composite demand. For example, the electricity services are demanded both for domestic and commercial services. That is what is called composite demand. The demand for a good that has multiple or you can say different uses. After this, in the types of demand again we have individual demand and market demand, and we can present it through individual demand schedule and market demand schedule. Now, schedule as soon as we say, we means a tabular presentation. Okay. Now, individual demand, if we are saying, is a tabulation of various quantities of a commodity that a consumer is willing to buy at a various level of prices during given time period. Here you can see in this table, price is going on increasing 1, then 2, then 3, then 4, then 5 is going on increasing, and quantity demanded of A's is going on decreasing from 20 to it is 18, then 18 to 16, then 16 to 14 and then 12. So it is showing an inverse relationship between price and quantity demanded. As price is increasing, quantity demanded is decreasing. This is individual demand schedule because we are taking only the demand for A's, might be consumer A. Now, when we take about market demand schedule, same way we take suppose price, then demand for A's, then demand for B's, it can be demand for C's also, like that. So, if the prices are increasing, say 1, then 2, then 3, then 4, you can show even the prices are decreasing, But if you are showing prices are decreasing, you have to show demands are increasing. So you have to keep that thing in mind. Here in the table, it is shown that price is increasing 1, 2, 3, 4, and demand of A's, it is decreasing from 4 to 3, then 2, then 1. Then demand for B is also 5, then 4, then 3 plus 2. Now how do we get the market demand? If we add demand by A's and B's, that suppose 4 plus 5 is 9. Market demand at price of 1. Then price 2, market demand is how much? 3 plus 4 is 7. Then at price 3, market demand is how much? 2 plus 3 is 5. And at price 4, market demand is 1 plus 2 is 3. Here also you see price is increasing 1, 2, 3, 4. Market demand is also decreasing 9, 7, 5, 3. So this way we can get the market demand schedule. You might get a question like that. Suppose a blank space is given over here, and you have been asked to find out what is the demand for B at price 3. So what you have to do, market demand is given, say 5, and demand for A is given 2. So 5 minus 2, that means how much? 3. So demand by B is 3. So that way also you might get the questions. Now these things we can present through a graphical representation. Graphical representation of individual demand schedule as well as market demand schedule. As I have told you over here, there is an inverse relationship between price and quantity demanded. So why? The demand curve is a negatively sloped curve. So demand curve slows downwards from left to right, you see here. And always when you are using a schedule, try to draw the diagram also based on the schedule. See here. Now, price is increasing from here, here, and quantity demanded is decreasing. This is only by a particular consumer. And when we show the same one for the market demand, we have to show, say, suppose for A is this one, then B is this one, and then finally market demand is this one. This way we can derive the curves also. Okay, then let us come to the law of demand. Law of demand, when we go, we have to first of all find out what are the determinants of demand. That means demand can depend on various factors. The first factor that over here is given is price of the product, price of the related goods, income of the consumers, consumers' taste and preferences, expectations of future prices. This much, these are the one which is for individual demand. And when we say market demand, this individual demand plus this pattern of income distribution, demographic structure of age, or age distribution of the population, and total number of consumers. Means taking all together, it can be market demand, and only if individual demand, only the first few. Price of the product, price of related goods, income of the consumer, consumer's taste and preferences, expectations of future prices. Now, if we try to find out now law of demand, we say that what is law of demand? What is law of demand? We say that other things remaining unchanged, constant, we use the word ceteris paribus, other things being equal. It expresses what? Only the inverse relationship between price of a commodity and the quantity demanded. That is what is law of demand. So you have to write other things being equal or ceteris paribus, meaning is same. Okay? And that means the assumption is what? Only price of the product is changing. Others all are remaining constant. The price of related goods. Price of related goods remains the same. Income of the consumers remains unchanged. Taste and preferences remain unchanged. All these things will be remaining unchanged. Okay? So, this is what is law of demand with its assumptions. Okay? Now, From here, we come to another concept over here, that there are certain exceptions to the law of demand. Now, what are these? Number one, if I take it as conspicuous consumption, bandwagon effect, snob effect, insignificant share in consumers' budget, insignificant share in consumers' budget, Veblen effect, speculative activities, Giffen effect. I hope all of you have gone through these points. Yes, you must be knowing all in details. I'm just giving you the division. I'm just trying to tell you, like, these are the cases where law of demand does not operate. Which are the factors where the law of demand does not operate? Then you have to write that in these cases, law of demand does not operate. Yes, I hope these things are clear, these concepts are clear. Now, you don't have in your syllabus reasons for downward sloping of a demand curve, but you must know that due to the inverse relationship up to your level, that much is sufficient. Otherwise, we have other points also. Okay. Now, if I am saying conspicuous consumption, that is as an exception to the law of demand, that some person may consume a very expensive commodity just to show off and attract the attention of other people. In that case, its price and demand may move in the same direction. That means law of demand does not operate. So diamond ornaments and expensive motor cars are examples of such goods. If the price of diamonds rise, a rich person will have even greater satisfaction in showing off his consumption of diamonds. He may therefore increase his purchase of diamonds. Then next comes what? Bandwagon effect. A somewhat similar situation arises with the so-called bandwagon effect. The consumer's demand for a good may be affected by the taste and preferences of the social class to which he belongs. If playing golf is fashionable among successful businessmen, then as the price of a golf ball increases, a businessman may increase his demand for golf balls in order to show that he is a successful businessman. The next comes the snob effect. If I write snob effect, that is, a consumer may try to show that he no longer belongs to a particular social class. This is known as snob effect. Consider a good which is, like consumed typically by poor people. When the price of this good falls, this consumer may decrease his purchase of this good in order to show that he no longer belongs to that class of poor people. Then say insignificant share in the consumer's budget. If a commodity occupies an insignificant position in the total budget of the consumer, variation in its price may leave the demand for the commodity unaffected. So salt is an example of this type of commodity. Next comes Veblen effect. Some people consider the price of the commodity is the true indicator for the quality of the commodity. Say the price of the commodity is more, is increase in price, they think that they are paying higher price for having a better quality goods. This is called the Veblen effect. Actually, this was given by Professor Veblen. And then you have what? Speculative activities. Goods which are objects of speculation may defy the law of demand. When the price of such a commodity rises, people may increase their purchase of that commodity in expectations that the price would rise even further in future. This happens in the share market also. Then there's the last point of exceptions to the law of demand is Giffen effect. There is a Giffen effect. So Robert Giffen observed that a typical inferior commodity consumed by the poor people may display an odd behavior. When the price of such commodity rises, poor people may cut down on their purchase of other, say, more expensive ones and increase their purchase of this commodity. This happened in Ireland during 19th century. So, during that period, most of the poor people of Ireland spent maximum part of their income on the cheap potatoes. They used to purchase very little quantities of meat, which was more costly. When the prices of potatoes increased, these people began to spend more on buying potatoes by reducing their expenditure on costly meat. So they purchased more potatoes though it was inferior. So these are the points which are a part of exceptions to the law of demand. I hope all these points are clear. Now you have come to know that there are many determinants of demand. Out of that, when there is a change in the demand due to the price of the product, we say, suppose price of the product has decreased from P to P1. That time what will happen? Demand will increase. But we don't use the term increase. We say what? Extension of demand. There's a movement along the demand curve. It's a downward movement. But when the price increases, then what happens? The quantity demanded decreases. Price increases from this to this, quantity demanded decreased. So we don't use the term over here decrease, we say what? Contraction in demand. So here we use the term movement along the demand curve, or if there is increase, then we use the term extension in demand, and when it decreases, we call it as contraction of demand. I hope this is clear. And one more point is there. When there is a change in demand due to the change in the price of that commodity, we use the term change in quantity demanded. Okay. Now let us go to the last part of this chapter, that is now shift in demand curve. When the price remains constant, there is no change in the price. Only the other factor determinants are changing due to other factors. Suppose income has increased, price remains the same, your income has increased. So you want to purchase more. So your demand has increased. Like that, due to all the other factors. Then we don't use the term extension of demand, we use the term what? Increase in demand. Suppose there is a fall in your income or any of the other factor determinants as is mentioned here, there is a fall in your income. You will be demanding less. So you are moving leftward, decrease in demand, the dotted line. So decrease in demand and increase in demand, we call it as shift in demand. And this is not happening due to the change in the price. This is happening due to the change in the other factor determinants of demand. So we call it as shift in demand curve, not movement along the demand curve. Remember, when there is a decrease in demand, we move leftward. When there is an increase in demand, we move rightward. I hope you all have gone through the chapter. It's a quick revision. This is going to help for your board exams. I hope that you all will be able to, remember these things with the mind maps that I have tried to explain it to you. Students, please like, share and subscribe my channel Economics Excellence, which is really going to give you benefits. As it is in the first video, I have uploaded the pattern of the question paper, the format of the question paper. I hope all of you have liked, because I have seen many of the views. Yes, please follow my next video and few more videos before your board exams, which is going to help you for your quick revision. Thank you.